also want to rediscover my love for performing. I did dance for 15 years of my life, and that was really one of my first loves. I want to do a little bit more of the things that scare me, and that's one of them. Hopefully bucket list item back on stage this year. That's in some performance, some way. That would be awesome. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while. I'm gonna try my best to explain why it's taken me so long to get this video up. Basically, in March, I flew to the Azores, which I explained in my last video, but if you're unfamiliar, it's a group of islands off the coast of Portugal, and the largest of the 9 is called São Miguel, which is where my family's from and where my parents and grandparents live. I flew there in March to visit my family, but really to check off a huge bucket list item and to have this shared experience that was a monumental occasion. One of my goals in January when I started to reframe this channel and what I wanted to be was that I wanted to dance again and put myself out there and perform, because that was such a big part of my life, which I mentioned in the clip before. And what's really funny about that is that was like one of my major milestone goals for, the future. It wasn't something that I expected would start to happen anytime soon. In January, I was already starting to take dance classes. I had put that intention out there, not really thinking too much of it. Then I got a call from my mom that they were going to host this big event for the 1-year anniversary of my parents' brewery, VULCANA. At the time, I didn't know how it would be possible to go. To be honest, we had our wedding in the Azores in July. That cost us quite a bit of money, and it's an expensive trip from LA, where I live, to, you have to fly to Boston, from Boston there. So I didn't know if I could make it work, but there was a pull inside of me, obviously, to be there for my parents during this occasion. I didn't want to miss it. Originally, my mom had framed it as they're going to have this huge party event for VULCANA, but my mom had also said that they wanted to possibly do some performances. It was kind of up in the air at that point, but she wanted to invite me to dance with her, to do some choreography and some pieces for the show, because it was going to be this huge event with a band and dancers. And then she also had asked 2 of our dear friends who are circus and belly dance performers to be a part of it. I couldn't believe it when my mom had asked me that, because it felt like a very full circle moment. Not only that I would get to go see my family again, it was an opportunity to share the stage with my mom, which, even though I had grown up dancing for 15 years and she was a dancer all her life, I don't think we had ever actually shared the stage together as mom and daughter. I moved money around, we figured it out, and I was able to say yes. Like, I didn't really think it through. I was just like, of course I would never miss this. I'm dancing with my mom. And also, holy shit, where did this manifestation come from? I felt like I had set that intention in January, and in March it was like an instant, like, okay, bet, like, you want to perform? It's coming. I said yes to the fear, even though everything in me was telling me, oh my God, you haven't danced in 8 years. Even though I was taking classes in a performance setting, that's completely different. I was so nervous, but also at the same time, more just focusing on the fact that I got to dance with these women who were so important to me. So that was what was like the main focal point of my mind, is you're dancing with your mom. This is what you asked for. With that being said, all the time with my family surrounding the event became some of my most cherished memories and the best parts of this experience. My mom and I being countries apart and so far apart. It's not even that we're just a little bit further away. It's like I'm on one side of the world and she's on the other, and we make it work, but it can sometimes feel disjointed. And when I have these one-on-one in-person moments with my mom, they mean everything to me. One of my favorite moments of this trip is my mom and I spent an hour or so in a garage unit, where she keeps all of her old costumes, belly dance costumes, old 90s clothes that she's had stored away that I've wanted to see. She found her wedding dress and I got to see it and hold it for the first time. So that's what you're gonna see next. It's clips of this moment with my mom when we were looking for belly dance costumes, but we ended up having some fun just looking through all her old stuff.
Oh, my favorite pants in the whole wide world.
I look like a column.
Clothes are pretty, precious. Looks great. Thank you.
This is like thrifting, but in my mom's closet.
Up skirt.
Yes, I can see the vision. Ooh, it stinks. This is awesome. I remember you wearing this all the time. Eu acho que nunca aguentei o teu vestido de casamento de Toycat, brother. Uau! Oh, tão bonito. Isso é mesmo vestido de bruxa. Look at how beautiful.
Peraí, deixa eu aguentar e fazer
Wow. I can't believe the moon and the stars and the lace detailing. And it snowed. So it's like a witch's winter dress. We picked a bunch of different pieces. They're all in here and we're gonna try them on and layer things until we decide on costumes. You made this, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you had your shop, 4 Roses. Ow. A relic from 2008. This is the Bella Swan jacket from the movie. It's the real one. The color's faded a lot.
You're gonna steal this, I know it. Wear it like this.
That's beautiful. I just zoom in. Wow. Look.
Hot topic. I think this is free people, isn't it?
That's better. It's right there. Karen, you look like. Yeah, that'll be mine. Thank you. That'll be mine. Little background history. I was born in San Miguel Island and I left when I was 4 years old with my family to the States. I've always felt a calling, obviously, to my roots and to my culture, and luckily I've been able to go and visit and spend time with my family there. But there's just something about the land and obviously the fact that my family now lives there again that really pulls me there, and also it creates this like vortex of emotion and power and feeling, and almost every time I'm there I have some kind of like deep wisdom download and out-of-body experience, or I learn something more about myself and I chip away at layers of like my history and my family, and that can be really intense and it's beautiful, but it always leaves me feeling like a little bit drained and like I need to recharge my battery again after, and that's why it's been taking me so long to film this. Obviously, I was thinking about this moment with my mom that I would get to share with her and the dance coming up and the event. I was so excited. But everything else that surrounded it became more about enjoying that time with my parents, with my little brother, Gabriel.
Let's go, children.
It really was a time to spend with all these beautiful people and to be on the island and taking that in. So the day of the event itself, I was building up to being like nervous, but mostly just excited. The butterflies were kicking in. We had started rehearsing a little bit with Melina and Zoe. We were prepared, right? Or so we thought. And we were practicing, getting ready, warming up, making sure everything was rigged properly for Zoe's aerial silks act. That was beautiful. It almost looked demonic. Then we went home and Zoe, Melina, and I started getting ready, doing our makeup and hair. And I started to feel the butterflies, but again, like in a lukewarm kind of way. I still wasn't sure what to expect. That night when we showed up to VULCANA, I'm not kidding when I say the cars lined up on the street beside VULCANA were completely stacked. The street was full. We got there and it was like an incredibly overwhelming, just like realization for all of us that this was going to be bigger than we expected. they were over capacity. There were over 400 people in there, cops outside. It was insane. Fully, like all the cars lined up around the building. Like you couldn't find one empty spot. I just looked around myself. One, I was so fucking nervous, but then two, also like at the same time full of pride and excitement that my parents had brought in this many people and that this many people on the island were excited to celebrate VULCANA and the work that they put into it. It was just like an overwhelming explosion of feeling, and I could sense it in everyone involved. Like we were all in just focus mode. No one was really talking to each other, just like nervous energy, like bees buzzing around each other.
And even my back's like, alright, I'll let you dance. And realize it was the video.
Zoe's missing.
Zoe is not.
I was looking at sparkly things.
Backstage. It felt to me, and this is what was so powerful about this experience that I had manifested in January, is like the reason I wanted to perform again on stage wasn't so much about being on stage as it was the camaraderie you feel with the other dancers, that backstage moment of getting ready before they call your name out to come out, like that feeling of being beside the curtain, just like waiting, the rush that you feel before you step out on stage, like, but then also being with the team, right, and going over the choreography nervously. And I was talking to my mom about that feeling I missed so much, of just like anticipation, and I was feeling that again, and the four of us kept rehearsing it. It felt like so familiar, and it did hit me with like a rush of emotion that this is exactly what I had asked for, even if I didn't know how the outcome was going to be. It was like this was the moment. I was so already, you know, just enjoying the high of that with all of us together. And then we did it. We got on stage, and I'll show you guys clips of the dance. I'm not sure if I'll show you everything, but I'll show you some of the choreography we did. dance was never something that I really took classes in. I always did more like ballet, tap, jazz, hip hop, contemporary myself. I had been practicing a little bit at home separately, watching the videos of the choreography, and then to have my mom and Melina and Zoe by my side, like it honestly didn't matter. It really felt like a coven in a lot of ways. Like we were making magic together. I don't know how to explain the feeling. It was like, also, like I said, International Women's Day and 2 mother-daughter duos. So it didn't matter if there were little hiccups. It didn't matter if we were perfect. It was really just the emotion that fueled the whole thing. One moment in particular that I love so much from the choreography where all 4 of us look at each other and do a few shimmies, look away, and then look back at each other. It's like this playful duet within the foursome that's really, really special. And afterwards, we all just were so relieved and hugged each other, and then got immediately back into our like comfortable clothes and had some beers and enjoyed. It was just like a wash of relief. But for me, it was a full circle moment that tied me back to why I started this channel in the first place, which was to get myself to these places of authenticity
And, you know,
this rediscovering your courage and your voice in whatever ways that manifests, but also doing it like in heart-led, loving-led ways, if that makes sense. Initially in the past, I would have given in to the resistant side of myself, the part of me that starts to be really rational. The fear always overshadowed all of the excitement and love for doing the thing. And I knew that that voice was coming up, and I had heard it before, and I knew that I needed to fight through it because there would be a new door opening if I tried. And that's exactly what happened. And I'm so glad I said yes for so many reasons. The fear of judgment will always be there, but it's just like a reminder always to come back to your sense of self. It's that inner knowing that you're getting closer and closer to being your more authentic self, getting closer and closer to living a life that is fully embodied and pleases you and makes you excited to wake up every day, because that's really ultimately the only thing that matters, because you reach a point where you have no choice. It's either saying yes and failing but doing it anyway, or being stuck in a constant loop of regret and anxiety. And that's no way to live, like living like a zombie in your own life. You get to be the main character. We hear it all the time, but it's true. But to do that, you have to put yourself in situations that are a little bit uncomfortable. And I've had to learn that the hard way by resisting a lot of opportunities, but I wasn't going to resist this one. I'm really glad I did it. If you made it this far into this story, into this video, thank you so much for being here. And I promise I will be getting back into a more consistent posting schedule. Let me know if you guys have any ideas for future videos. I definitely need to redecorate my altar and get that all set up, and I have some ideas for content around that, so stick around to see some more of those videos. I just want to say hi to all of the newcomers too. I see all of your guys' faces and I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being here. And if you haven't already, give this video a like and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell thingy. That way you'll know when I post new videos and we can stay more consistent together. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.